Hi everyone. Today is Salesforce Lightning Day 9. Let's see what are we going to learn today's agenda. We will quickly go through the previous session and we'll see the implements in Aura component, basically the interfaces, whatever we have discussed, the interfaces, quick review on that. And lightning colon button icon, we will see the lightning colon button icon and we'll talk about the Aura set, lightning component, and we'll talk about the lightning colon menuSubheader, and then we will talk about the menuDivider. And after that, we'll little bit introduction about the controller, how to use the controller in the Lightning Aura, and we'll have a quiz, homework, and today's interview questions. Okay, quickly, what did we learn yesterday?
Lightning button, lightning button, lightning groups, lightning menu item.
Menu item.
Right. So we were focused on the lightning button group, lightning button menu, and menu item. So these are the one which we have discussed yesterday. Right? Yeah. So interfaces in Aura component, we know that Force is one of the namespace. In the Force namespace, we have app hostable. This is used for the Lightning custom tab. And then we have a Lightning quick action without header. It is used for the, if we wanted to implement a quick action on the object or on the record, then we have to use the Lightning quick action. And if we use the Lightning quick action without header, the header and footer won't be available for the quick action. And Force namespace also has a record ID. Has record ID is to capture the record 18-digit record ID, and we can display that record ID on the page. So Force is specially focused on the tab, action, and capturing the ID. Next one, we have a flexi page. Flexi page has a two types, available for all page types, available for record home. So all page type in a sense, whether it is a record home page or an app page, anything which is available to use this. If we implement this interface, we can use that component everywhere. If I use the interface called available for record home page, that means if I wanted to place the component on the Lightning page, Lightning app builder, then we have to use the available for record home. Now, moving on to the today's new Lightning component, which is Lightning colon button icon. Lightning colon button icon. So what is this Lightning colon button icon? Use the Lightning colon button icon to display icon only buttons. So yesterday, whatever we have discussed, we have discussed about the buttons as well as the button group, buttons with the icon, right? So whatever the buttons are there, beside this log a call, if I wanted to display icon, we placed it using the attribute called icon. But now we are talking about the button icon. That means the one which you see on top, What are these? These are actually the icons. These are icons. Now we know how to implement this button, menu item, this we have seen yesterday. But how to implement the one which shows on top? On top, we have a different buttons. If I hover on this, it is going to say, if I hover on the question mark, it is a Salesforce help. If I hover on this setup, if I hover on this notification. So these are called button icons. So in the button icon, so what are the mandatory attributes? Mandatory attributes are alternative text. That means in case if the button is displaying it and if we wanted to display some alternate text below the button. So in that case, we use a alternate text. The alternate text is used to describe the icon. And the second mandatory one is icon name. we have to mention the icon that we can get it from the Lightning design system. Name of the icon, example, utility colon down or utility colon setup. So those icons, we can place it into the button icon. Variant are the one which are the variant changes the appearance of the button icon. Here we have a different variant. Yesterday we have seen different like a base, neutral, and brand, right? These all we have seen. Now here variant is also there with the button icon, right? The variants are, there are few variants with the button icon. One is a bear and next one is a brand and next one is a container. And if you want any border, like a border, we can display border hyphen filled. So these are the variant, but mostly we will use the either the brand one, or we will see what is the differences between the each one of them. We will see, and we will try to compare what Salesforce is using it. So these are the brand, these are the variant. And then next one we have title. Title is a tooltip. Displays the tooltip text whenever the mouse moves over the element. So whenever the mouse is over onto that button, right? So whenever I over the mouse onto Salesforce, like as soon as I over it, it is displaying the kind of a information, Salesforce help. As soon as I over here, setup, here notification. So whenever the user is hovering onto the button icon, if we wanted to display the tooltip, then we have to use the title. Next one is the size. The size of the button icon. Do you want extra small or medium or a bigger? Whatever the size of the icon is there, which we can make a changes using the size attribute. Now let's go ahead and see. So basically this is question mark, setup, notification. These are the one which I'm going to implement right now. Now let me copy this. Let's take a snipping of it. So let's implement these three: question mark, setup, and notification. Now let's go ahead and implement our component. Let's open the developer console. File, new, Lightning component, LC underscore. We are going to create a button icon. Now, I'm not going to create any interface right now. I'll just use this component to see it in the application. So description is by default created. Just close the description. Now, Aura component. Now, within the Aura component, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to implement these button icons. I'm going to implement the button icons. What are the different icons are there? I'm going to use it. Now, first thing is that if I have to use it, I need to find out what type of a button is it. That means icon name. What is the icon name of each one of them? For the first one, what is the icon name? What is the icon name? Where can I get it? I have to go to the Lightning design system, and it is a help. So let me search help. So the icon name is utility colon help. And the second one, I need icon name equal to utility, colon, setting. And the third one is notification. Icon name equal to utility, colon, notification. Now where I am implementing this, I am implementing these all are in Lightning colon button icon. Button icon. So in Lightning colon button icon, the first one is the icon name is help, and the second one is setting, and the third one is utility notification. Now, what are the attributes are mandatory for the icon along with the icon name? What is the other one? There are two attributes mandatory for the button icon.
Alternative text.
Alternative text.
Alternative text. So I'll mention here help. Alternative text equal to setting. Alternative equal to notification. Now, these two are the mandatory field. Now I need another attribute here, which will explain how to display the icon, right? So that is decided by the variant. Variant equal to, let's see each one of them. Where, and next one, let's give it as
Brand.
equal to
Controller.
brand.
Field. Variant is equals to controller.
Variant equal to container. Yeah, let's see these three. Now, is there anything that I need here? Apart from this, so if I have to implement this particular, sorry, if I have to implement this particular icon, this is the line of code that I have to write. Button icon, icon name, utility help, alternative text help, variant, and if you want any tooltip, if user is hovering here, whenever the user hover on the text, if you want any tooltip, then use the
Title.
attribute called title. Now, this is the line in order to implement it. Now, let's go ahead and implement it. Lightning colon, button icon. I need icon name, alternative text, and also let's give variant. Close. So let's create this 3 times because we are going to create 3 buttons. The first one is utility colon help, and alternative text is help. Variant, let's use where. Utility colon settings, variant, let's use brand, and the next one I'll use utility colon notification, utility colon notification alternative text notification variant after the brand. What is that?
Container.
Container. Right? We have another one which is called border field. But let's see, these are the one. Let's take another one which is a border field. So for the border field, let's take another utility. Let's take groups. Groups, alternative text group, variant equal to brand hyphen field. Let's save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to include it in the button icon. So let me comment out the previous one. C colon LC underscore button icon. Click on preview. Okay. Snippet. Now let's go back to the paint. This is what ours. Now, if you see which one is matching, what are the notification one is there that is matching. For the group one, border field has a thin line. There is a, if you observe it, there is a thin line to the border field. But Salesforce is not using any border. Salesforce is not using any border. Right? It is just a unique. So let me change everything as, for example, if I remove a variant, because variant is a not mandatory. So what I'll do is I'll just remove it. Let's remove it for the groups. Now click on refresh the app. It's not refreshed. So I'll do one more thing here. I'll add the same thing. This time I'm going to include size attribute. Let's say size equal to. So we have a small, large, medium, small, medium, large. These are the different things are there. So if I use small, and here I'll use the extra small. For the extra small, you can use X hyphen. If you want extra small, then you have to use XX hyphen. So let's take X hyphen small. And then here I'll add the container large. Space. Now let's click on the app update preview. Okay, so do you see any difference between this and this? There is a one which I have used large. Setting is extra small. This is extra small. And after setting notification, I have used it as a large, but there is no difference here. The large. Small, it's a compared to this one, it is a small. So you can play with this, however you wanted to display as per the client requirement, whether they want a small, bigger. By default, it displays as per the Salesforce standard. But if you wanted to make any changes, as per the client requirement, then you can make. If client says that little bigger or little smaller, you can use it. Now, if I hover this, it is displaying the notification, right? It is displaying the groups. So this is how we implement a lightning icon. The button icons. Any questions on the button icons?
Ma'am, how we capture the position, ma'am?
Position, right now by default, do you see it is displaying at the corner, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now for the position, hold on it. By default, it is displaying here. If I add a button group also, yesterday we have added the button group, right? So let's go ahead and add the button group. How to add the button group?
Ma'am, for this button icons, the variant is like different from buttons, right?
Brand is the same. Brand, yes, where those all are different, but brand is the same.
Okay.
How to create a button group, button menu item,
Lightning group, button group, sorry, lightning button group.
button group. Yes.
Lightning button.
So I wanted to add a log a call as yesterday. What do I need to do? What are the attributes do I need to add it in the button?
Label variant.
Name variant. Label, sorry, label equals to
Label
log
equal.
equal. Variant is equals to, sorry, brand.
If I do not mention the
Neutral.
variant,
Neutral, ma'am, it will be neutral.
okay. So let's take it as a neutral. Title equal to base action. Okay, next one. Yesterday we created the quick contact. And the next one we created the label equal to new note. Okay. After this, we have included the menu, right? How to
Lightning button menu. Lightning button menu item.
lightning. Guys, have you done the assignment or not?
Menu
Lightning
item.
menu items.
Menu item.
Okay. Let's add 3. What are the attributes do I need to add it in the menu item?
Label.
Label equal to contact.
New case,
New case. New contact.
new contact,
New opportunity.
label equal to new opportunity. Right. Is there anything that I need to add it? Okay, so let's see output. right? This is the one. But in Salesforce, all the quick actions are where it is this side, right?
Yes.
All the icons, buttons, everything are this side. But I'm getting by default, it is starting
Left.
It is starting from left side.
Left.
By default, it is starting from the margin. Now I wanted to move all of this to the, now I wanted to move all these buttons to the whatever the Salesforce, the place is there for the buttons. You open any screen in the Salesforce, where do we see all the buttons? All the buttons are here, all the quick actions. But for us, it is displaying this side, right? So we will see how to do that. But before I move on, any questions on this? Okay, so let's move on. Next one is Aura set. Next one is Aura set. So Aura set is to control title, action, footer. To control title, action, footer. That means it will decide where should we need to display the title, where should need to be display the action, footer, whatever is there. And Aura set is a child of a lightning card. We have to use Aura set within the card. Within the card. You cannot use it outside. So if you are planning to use the Aura set, use the lightning card. So Aura set is a child of a lightning card. And attributes are only one attribute, that is a mandatory attribute, defines the position of a component. Defines the position of a component. Now let's take it. Example, attribute equal to title, attribute equal to actions, attributes equal to footer. Now, what is this title, action, footer? What are these? What are this? So we have a lightning card, right? Whenever we implement a lightning card, this is how we will see, right? We will see the lightning card. Now this is a lightning card. For example, I have implemented a lightning card. Now within the lightning card, whenever we implement a card, right? Or you take any component in the Salesforce, you take any lightning component, right? Whenever we take inside the card is divided into the three sections. Card is divided into the three sections: header, body, footer. Header, body, footer. Three in the card, it is divided into header, body, and the footer. Every card has this. Now again, the header is divided into two sections. One is a title. The other one is an action. Title and the other one is action. Only within the header, you see all the titles are this side and all the actions, whether it is a button, quick action, or any quick actions or any buttons, button group, anything, icons, everything where it will be placed in the action. Right? So here, title is whatever the title is displayed. Actions are whatever the buttons are displayed. Footer is nothing but if you have any footer that needs to be displayed in the card. For example, let's take on the account. If you go to the account, you see this screen, right? For example, you have opened one of the account. So when you open this account, do you see here icon and the name of the object and what is the record type, and there is an icon here. This is a title of the record. Title of the record. And the other side, whatever you see, all the buttons, those are actions. This side is title and this is action. So header is divided into two different sections, title and the action. And whatever you see here, this is called body. This does not have any footer. But ideally, the footer is not mandatory for the every card. Few cards has a footer, few cards does not have a footer. But body, and if there are any quick action, it has to place a quick action here. It has to place a quick action here. If there are any title has to start from this side. Title has to start from this side. Now let's go ahead and see that. Now whatever we have written, the actions. Let's use this. Now let me create a new one. Lightning new. Lightning component. Aura set, LC underscore aura set. Submit. Now, here, the first thing what I need to use it,
Lightning card.
lightning card. Okay. Now, let's take an example of one of the account. Let's go here. Okay, so this is the account. Now here you see there is an icon on the card, right? This icon is an account icon. But what type of an icon it is? Is it a utility icon or a different icon? All right, let's go to the standard. Yeah, this is the one, account, right? I have an account. So exactly same one is displaying here. Now I can use this account. What I'll do is, first I'm trying to implement the left side one. First I'm trying to implement left side. Now before that, if you wanted to see the output, let's go ahead and see the output. Let's save this. Comment out the previous one. C colon LC underscore aura set. Click on update preview. Right, there is a thin line here. You see the card because there is no data here. That's the reason it is displaying like this. Now within this, I need to start from this side, right? So what I'll do is, within this, I'll create a 3 different section: title, action, footer. How to do that? How to divide my lightning card? Title, action, footer. How can I divide it?
Aura set.
Yes.
Aura colon set and attribute equal to
Header. Title.
title, because this is the first set. And the second one I have action. And the third one is footer.
Footer.
Now let's refresh it, this page. Okay, still nothing is there. We have just divided our card into title, action, footer, but there is nothing is there. Now, what is my first one is to implement the title. So in order to implement the title, so what I'll do is I'll directly go inside the set. Now let me say account. And after the account, we have a Salesforce. Here, account is a normal and Salesforce is in bold color. So I'll use B, Salesforce. Now, where should I need to use the icon? Whatever this icon is there, where should I need to use the icon? Where should I need to declare it? On the lightning card. Icon name equal to, what was it? Standard, this is inside the standard icon, account. Standard colon account. Let's say. Now let's refresh. Perfect, right? It is displaying almost same. Okay. After that, we have a icon. So this is hierarchy icon. So for hierarchy icon, it seems like a utility. Search for hierarchy icon. Yeah, here it is. How do I place the icon? What is the tag that I need to use? What is the component that I need to use in order to place the icon?
Lightning button icon.
Lightning button icon. Icon name.
And
Utility.
utility
Colon hierarchy. What are the another mandatory field, mandatory attribute for the
Alternate text. Alternate text.
alternative text equal to
Hierarchy.
say hierarchy. Now let's close.
Ma'am, like why we use for hierarchy we have used lightning button icon, but why not for account?
It's on the card, the one which is there this side. Do you see here? This is on the card, but this one, it is displaying after the Salesforce.
Okay.
Now, the second thing is that, can I use multiple icons on the card? Let's see,
No.
refresh. What happened here? It's gone, right? I cannot even see that. So it does not work. But here, if you observe on the Salesforce side, this icon is after the record name. See the height of it. It is displaying. This title is divided into, this title is divided into 3 sections here. Right? This is completely one box. And this side is the icon. And then again, it is divided here. This is the layout of the title. two columns. One column is completely icon and second column is divided into two rows. First one is displaying as an account and the second one is displaying a record name and then icon name.
We can use size attribute, right, for account in the Lightning card.
Size attribute, where you will use it?
In Lightning card attribute. There, yes.
Do we have a size?
No, actually, that in standard Lightning phase it was looking big, so I'm just thought of to have size equals to large.
In ButtonIcon, you are saying, or in
No.
the Lightning card?
No, here also. Here we can we add a size attribute in Lightning card only?
Lightning card, do we have a attribute in the Lightning card?
Not found. Okay.
So it is available on the only button icon. Now, this icon is displaying it. There is a thin border is there, but I do not want the border, right? Border is there. Okay, let's use the border and let me reduce it to small. Now, this is whatever the title is there. Now, in the action, I already implemented the button icon. This component is already implemented, which has all the buttons, right? Which has all the buttons. So what I wanted to is, instead of me writing it here, I wanted to call this component. From this component, from Aura set component, I wanted to call button icon because the button logic is implemented in the button icon group. So what can I do? How can I call the component from the HTML, this component? How do I call the component?
ID
C column.
C colon LC underscore
That name LC underscore name. Component.
button icon. Right? So let's refresh. Right, all the buttons are displaying in the right side and our title and the name of it, everything is displaying it in the left side. So this is how it displays. Now, if I add anything, like if I add any lightning input or anything, if I add, that is going to the body. Here I can add whatever I needed. Now here, one thing observe. This is the lightning group. Right? In the lightning group, we have a new case, new contact, new opportunity. Right? Assume that I have another one. Assume that I have another few menu items. Let's assume I have, let's reduce this icon. Let's comment out this. Now I wanted to add few more menu items. Let's say this is clone. This is edit. This is delete. Okay. I have a new case, new contact, new opportunity. And then we have a clone, edit, delete. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to divide that menu item. I wanted to divide the menu item. New case, new contact, new opportunity. And then I have clone, edit, delete, right? These are there. But ideally, this new case, new contact, new opportunity is to create a new record. And then I have a different section which talks about the current page activities. The first one is talking about creating a new other object. Let's say new object. And the other one, where are the clone and these are there, those are talking about current page. This is talking about current page. Current page. Now I wanted to divide this menu item. I wanted to divide it. That means it should say new object. Within the new object, new case, new contact, new opportunity should come. Here, current page, clone, edit, delete should come. So basically, I need like this new object. New case, new opportunity, new contact. Let's bold that and then current page. Clone, edit, delete. So that if user is coming up, they can see that, okay, new object, these are to create a new object records. Let's say new records instead of new object, new records. So these are to create a new records in a different object. And this is talking about the current record. Current record actions. So this I wanted to divide it. Now how to implement this? Where should it appear? It should appear in the menu item, the menu item which is displaying there. Whatever here it is displaying it, it should highlight the one on top of it. What are these actions related to which? These actions are related to which one? Now, how do we implement that? Let's go ahead and see. menuSubheader, the component called menuSubheader. Lightning : menuSubheader. Lightning : menuSubheader creates a divider. When I say creates a divider, is nothing but group of the button should belong to where? Group of the button should belongs to where? Creates a divider in the list of items. If I have a 10 list of items, out of that 5 list of items are talking to which actions, what are those activities, and rest 5 of the actions are related to which record, and what are the main related to what. So basically, to create a divider in the list of items for Lightning : menu button. So attributes are label name. That's it. Only one attribute, which is a mandatory label name. Label name. So this is how it displays different objects. So new contact, new case is there. Now same object, edit page, back to home page. These are related to same object. But there are, if I am on the account, and I clicked on that sub menu item, if I clicked on the menu item, or if I clicked on that menu, in that menu, whenever I click on that menu, the menu items are displayed, right? Those menu items are, if I wanted to divide the list of items into one group, list of other items into another group, then we will use a subheader. Now let's go ahead and see how to implement it. Now, these are the one, right? Menu item, these 3 into one group, and then another one is into the another group. Now what I'll do, I have to introduce another subheader here. How can we introduce a subheader?
Lightning menuSubheader.
Lightning menu
Subheader.
Subheader.
subheader. What is the attribute, mandatory attribute?
Label,
Label.
Label equal to
new record.
new records. Now another one I wanted to add after this, that means before the clone. These are the current record. Actions. I just added a one line between these menu items, which is called menuSubheader. Now let's refresh the page. Okay, click on this. You see here, new records. These all the actions are inside the another header called new records. If I wanted to create a new record of a case, new record of a contract, new record of a opportunity, so these are combined into one group and it is attached to it is under the subheader. Related to current record, if you wanted to do anything, clone, edit, delete, then these are the actions. These are the actions. Now, if you go to in Salesforce, go to any object, right? Click on this. Instead of received view, let's take all accounts and click on this. See here, list view controllers. This is a subheader, menu subheader. Inside this subheader, these are the options. Now click on this, display as. Display as is a subheader. Inside that, we have these three options. These three menu items. Display as is a subheader. Inside the subheader, table, Kanban, split view are the menu items. These are the menu items. Any questions on the menu subheader? Any questions on the menu subheader? Okay, so let's move on. Next, menuDivider. menuDivider is basically used adds a line between the buttons. A line between the buttons. That means after the different object and before it starts actual quick action, then I need a thin line between it. And after the same object also, I need a thin line. Or after the new case also, I need a thin line here. One divider, I need it here. If you want a line between the buttons or between the subheader, if you want a line, so what we can use it? menuDivider. We have to use menuDivider. So this is a menuDivider and this is a menuDivider. For example, right now, I wanted to add a divider between this group and here. That means after the new opportunity, I wanted to add a divider. So what I'll do is I'll go to after the opportunity, hit enter, Lightning, menuDivider. Let's say, refresh. Now click on this drop down. See here, this group, I have divided with the divider. So till this point is a one group, after this is another group. I just added between the two subheader, I have added a thin line.
Ma'am, so basically this lightning menu subheader and the lightning this line one, this attribute. So are these child components of lightning menu item?
Yes, these are menu item. Child component of a menu, not the menu item. You have a menu here, within the menu item. So basically what is done here? Here I have implemented a button menu. And inside this button menu, I have another one which is called menu item. I have another one called menu item. This is a menu item. Now menu item. So we have a different menu item. These are the one. Now again, I divided the menu item into two subheaders, two groups. What are the menu items I have inside the menu? Those I have divided into the two groups. Those I have divided into two groups. So first group is here and the second group is here. Now what is this? This is a subheader, sub-menu header. This is a menu subheader. This is one menu subheader, another one I have added here. So that what happened? It is divided, menu item is separated, two separate groups it created. One group is created here, another group is created below. So within the subheader, it is divided into two groups. Before it was a one group. Now using the subheader, I have divided this. Now after dividing it, I need a line between it. Wherever the line I needed, for example, I need a line between the each button. For the each button I need it. I need a line between the each button. New case, new contact, clone, edit, delete. So what I have to do? If I need a line between the each one of them, then I have to use divider. The divider is this one. I'm adding a divider here. One divider bit to separate. For example, here I have a 2 and here I have a 3. This is the divider. This is a one divider and this is another one and this is the another one. And this divider is what it does. It is basically, it is divided here. This is a new case, new contact. And within the menu subheader, I have a clone, edit, delete, delete. Basically, wherever you need, okay, you cannot use a divider outside. You cannot use a divider outside. It has to be within the menu item. For example, if I add divider here, after the new case, after the new contact, then after the clone, and after the edit, I'll remove it from here. Now let's say. So basically, this is one group. Group 1. And below one is group 2. let's save. Let's go back to the app. menuDivider is a child component of button menu. Right? So between the new case, new contact, there is a one line, and between the new contact, new opportunity, there is a line, and clone, edit between that one line, and edit, delete one line. Basically, it is dividing it. Dividing the, within the menu item, dividing the each menu item. Clear? Any questions till now, whatever we have discussed so far? Subheader, divider, button icon.
Ma'am, I have to.
Yeah.
In account object, it's a standard object. We have the SLDS icon is there. That account. Yeah, this one. No, ma'am. Header part. Yeah, yeah. That the main icon, ma'am.
This-
Account icon. No, ma'am. Icon. That.
Okay.
But if we have a standard custom object, how can I?
This icon, how to get it?
Yeah, not only that. If a custom object, it is a standard object, so we can find out that account
Mhm.
icon. But I have a student or any college custom objects is there. Need to put any icon over there. How
Okay.
can I?
So here different icons we have. Standard are related to what are the standard object we have in the Salesforce, that is the one. Custom one, whatever you are using in the Salesforce, whenever you are creating a custom object, it will ask what type of icon do you wanted to place it for that custom object, right? Most of the custom object, you will find it here. If you do not find in the custom, go to the action. You might be able to find it. In case if it is not there in the action, in the utility is there. But most of the time, we will be able to find it in the custom. In case if you are still not able to get it, click on this inspect, right click on it, inspect it, and just hover on this. You are only looking for the icon, right? So highlights icon hyphen container. Okay. So here you can see icon container. Just click on this. Let's take out avatar. Let's save. Okay, it is increased. So you will be able to find it here. Highlights.
This is the customization part, no? That icon.
Icon, you can customize it, you can make a changes. I mean, standard one, you cannot do it. If you are implementing a Lightning component, if you wanted to make a change of it, you can change it. But see, basically what kind of icons we have. Let's go ahead and see that setup. Let's go to the tab. Tabs. Okay. If you do not have any custom object, then I cannot help it. Let's see. Because whenever we see the custom object, that time
Yeah. That will be
click
fun.
on
I don't.
edit here. So when you edit it, so if you click on this, now tab style. For example, you have a CD DVD. So this is the CD one is there. Okay, so let's go ahead and find that. Is there any one CD? If in case if you do not find it here, you have to find the any icon in the Google, and we have to use that. But as far as whatever I have implemented the custom, most of them are we have taken it from the custom. If you search in the Google icons, CD icons, you will get it. So you can download it and place it into the Salesforce.
But yeah.
For example, you have a avatar. Okay, different avatars are there. Okay, these are the different avatar icons are there. Okay, so for example, they wanted this avatar icon on the custom Lightning application. So what you can do is you can download this, and when you are using, you have to update it to the static resource. We have learned the static resource, right? Update their static resource, and wherever you want, use that. But you will not find that difficulty in the real time. They will suggest you to use any of this.
Okay, ma'am. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm using the same, right? We need to use the merge field.
Yes,
Resource
merge
dot
field.
resource dot static resource name.
Yeah. Is if anybody has an idea of the React UI does the same thing. They download these images and they make a changes onto it. Basically, they download the black and white, not the color one. So on top of that image, they will apply some kind of a CSS. So that work is done by the React UI and they will provide it. Okay. Any other questions? So today what we have learned so far, we have learned how to implement a button icon, and our focus is to whatever we have here, right? You can divide the buttons. Buttons are on top, one buttons are on the bottom. You can divide it. Basically, you need to write one button group, and then again one another buttons you have to write it in the bottom. Now let's move on. Next one is controller, Lightning Aura controller. The controller is whatever the framework it has. The framework supports client-side JavaScript and server-side Apex controller. The framework, whatever the logic that we write it into the controller, it's if you are implementing anything in the client side, it has to be implemented using the JavaScript. And if it is a server side, we have to call the Apex controller. So controller, a JavaScript controller, is used for handling the client side processing. Also, if you wanted to call the Apex, so directly you can call it from the controller. There is another one is that we'll see it later. Directly you can call it from the controller also. But what is the best way to call the Apex controller? We will see that later. For now, controller is to handle the client side processing. Controller is used to handle the client side processing. So basically, whatever the event that happens on the user interface, whatever the event that happens on the user interface, if you wanted to handle or if you wanted to do some logic on the client side, then we have to use the controller. An event is always wired to a client side controller action. An event is always wired to a client side controller action. Use controllers to listen user event, like we have implemented so far the Lightning :input. So whatever the user is entering the data, for example, calculator. So user is entering the first number, second number. When they enter it, somebody has to do the sum of it. If the user press plus button, sum button, then the controller has to listen what kind of a button that they have entered there and what are the numbers they have entered. So based on the button click, there are sum button, multiplication button, subtract button, there are different buttons are there. So what are the button they clicked on it, based on that, the logic should be executed. How can we do it? Using the client side, we can do it. So controller is to listen to user events, whatever the events that are happening on the user interface. The controller will be always listening to those events. And here, one more thing, mostly the controller, we will be writing the JavaScript. JavaScript is a case sensitive. Even capital small letters also matters. If you have written capital instead of a small letter, if you write a capital letter, the logic does not work. And what is the basic syntax of the controller? We are not going in depth of the controller. We are just at the high level. How to use the controller, when to use it, what kind of a logic we will write it, JavaScript latest version, JavaScript old version, what kind of a JavaScript we will write it, we will still need to discuss those. We are just talking about the controller. And how the syntax is, syntax will be, remember this, syntax will be this side the function name. It has two parts. One is a function name, and the second one is what kind of a parameter. Function name, that means this is a kind of a method name. It is a method name or a function name. You can call this as a method name, right? So for example, I have a button here. On click of this button, it has to execute some logic. So how this will be executed? The logic is written in the controller. The logic is written in the controller, but the button is implemented where? In the HTML. Button is implemented in the HTML. Lightning : button we have implemented. So on the HTML page, we have implemented this button. Now button has to go and talk to the controller. It can go to controller, but controller has a different methods. Controller has a different methods. But how the button will know that which one do I need to talk to it? There is a name to each method. There is a name to each method. For example, this is a method, B method, C method, right? There is each one of them method. So we have to tell in the HTML there is a method called A. So whenever user clicks on a button, go and talk to the A. So who is the A here? A is the method name, the function name. A is the function name, colon. The function is a standard here. Function is standard. And within the function, we have some kind of a parameters. Within that function, we have some parameters. We will be passing it. What are those parameters? Parameters are standard. Basically, the standard parameters are component, event, helper. Every method, every function in the controller has these three parameters by default. By default, whenever you are clicking on the controller, these three parameters are by default, it is added to the parameters. Component parameter, event parameter, helper parameter. Now, what is that means? Now, so far we have written the HTML here, right? Now here I have a controller. Everything is a create, because we have not yet clicked on any of this. We have just used the component, the HTML, the component, one of the bundle, the component one, we have used it. The controller, we have not used it. Now I'm clicking on the controller. It takes some time to enable. Now, as soon as it is enabled, the create button is gone. Now, if you observe here, this is the name of the function or name of the method. Then this is the another side. Function is a by default. Whatever the method you write it, it has to follow with colon function. And within that, these are the parameters. Now, the only three parameters we have to use, or can we use it more than three parameters? Yes, you can use more than three parameters. By default, Salesforce is giving the component parameter, event parameter, helper parameter. Component parameter, event parameter, helper parameter. Component parameter is to listen to the component, whatever the actions are happening in the component, whatever the actions are happening in the user interface. It can listen if you have a parameter called component. Now, helper, if you wanted to pass anything to the helper from the controller, you wanted to pass some data to the helper, then what will happen? We have to use the helper parameter. Event that is a different topic. If you do not use this event also, that should be fine. If you do not have any events, you need not to talk to any events. Remove the events. You can remove the events. You can even remove the helper if you do not need it. You can just use the component, right? But by default, Salesforce is giving the only three parameters. If you do not need any of this, but component should be there. Component should be there. That has to be listened to the component, whatever is happening. You can remove it. But for now, let's keep it. Is syntax, everything is perfect? Controller. Any questions on the controller? Just a definition I gave. Controller is where we write a JavaScript controller, or it is used to listen the user events, whatever the events are happening on the component. To listen to that component, we need a JavaScript logic in the controller. And what kind of a language, whether we use a latest JavaScript or older JavaScript, basically we will not be using the latest JavaScript in the Aura component, but I cannot guarantee. Some of the JavaScript, latest JavaScript might work in the Aura, some of them doesn't work. So it's all we have to do the trial and error. Now this is the syntax here, okay? For example, I have a button. Let's assume that button called let's take setting. Okay, as soon as I click on a settings, I need a alert message. I need a alert message saying that you have clicked on the settings. So what I'll do, I'll say here, we have a attribute called onClick. OnClick equal to, I have to call a method. Now, how do I know what is the method that I need to call here? Do you see here my action? In case if you do not want my action, no, I do not want my action. I can say that handle button. This is my method name. Now, if I wanted to call that method, in the onClick, how do we call it? This is my function name. Okay. Now, a step back. If I have to call the component, how can I call it?
C colon component name.
I'll call C colon component name. Let's assume that ABC is the component. This is how I call. Now I need to call a controller method. Whatever the method or function is declared, what are the logic we have written in the controller, right? Assume that this handle button has a logic that we have written. If I have to call this handle button from the component, how do we call it? Curly braces, exclamation, C dot handle button. We have to use a merge field. Curly braces, exclamation, C dot handle button. So on click equal to double quotes, curly braces, exclamation, C dot handle button. Calling the JavaScript method, calling the controller method. So here I'll say curly braces, exclamation, C dot handle button. Let's save it. Okay, now I wanted to display an alert message. This is a generic sentence. I'm not writing anything. I'm just adding the alert. That's it. I'm not adding anything. So I'll say that clicked on settings. Icon. Clicked on settings icon. So let's go ahead and refresh the app. Okay, so which one we have written? Setting. So click on it. Say clicked on setting icon. How it is calling this? Click OK. Right click, inspect, go to network. Go to, source. Go to the source. In the source, do you see here first Aura component app? This is our app. This is ours. This is the one we have implemented, first Aura component app. That is the application. And on top of it, you see here components. Just open the components. Do you see LC underscore button icon JavaScript .js is there .javascript. Expand it. As soon as you open, you might not see. If you are able to see it, perfectly fine. In case if you are not able to see much code here, click on this. Right? Click on this, it will open up. See here, this is the controller. Handle button alert. So in case if any of the logic is not getting executed. So what you can do is, this is the breakpoint, you can click on it. So as soon as you put here, the breakpoint is added. right? Right now the breakpoint is not there. See here, breakpoints are no breakpoint. Now, as soon as I select it, there is a breakpoint on the 12th line, alert, clicked on the setting icons. As soon as I click on it, so what happened? It is hitting this one. And you can do the step by step. This is a step over next function call. You can go next, or else it went to the next one, or else you can directly click on resume it. Now let's assume that in your code, you have written the handle button. But in the JavaScript, it is B capital changed to small b, Control S. Okay, so before that, let's keep the same name, Control S. In the component, instead of on click, here I'll add a capital. On, C is a capital, L-I-C-K. And let's refresh this. Click on this settings, it's still loading. Okay, so if you see here, my breakpoint is still exist. Breakpoint is still exist. I am clicking on the setting. Is my cursor is coming there? The cursor is not even going to this, right? The cursor is not even going to this line. Nothing is happening because what I have written here incorrect. So it should be small c. Now if it is a small c and you have written here something small b instead of a capital B. Now let's refresh this. The breakpoint will still exist until unless you don't close. If you hard refresh or if you close this, then only the breakpoint will go away. Till that point, breakpoint will be still there. So I have a breakpoint here. Now, okay, button, icon. So this is the handle button, small b. So this is already their breakpoint. I'm clicking on this. What is happening here? It is giving the error. What it is saying, the page has an error. You might just need to refresh it. Unable to find an action called handle button. I can see here handle button, but the case sensitive. On the controller, LC underscore button icon, failing the descriptor. I'm not able to find. You clicked on this, click on this, there is a something action has been written. On click of this, there should action has to be done. But this action, I'm not able to find it. That means there is no logic has been written in. So that's the warning message it is giving it. So make sure whatever you are calling it from the component, the controller name should be the same. Controller name should be the same. Any questions on the controller?
Ma'am, is it completely case sensitive right now?
Yes.
Java? Okay, and one more thing, is it follow the kebab case and any camel cases
Sorry?
in Java? Yeah, camel cases, like we have.
Ideally, what we will do is we will start with a smaller letter.
Okay.
And once the word is ended, we start with a capital. Yeah, camel, we use it.
Camel.
Whoever is seeing this for the first time, any questions? Remember the format of writing this first line.
Ma'am, wherever we want to refer a component, we just need to use C colon component name, right?
C dot.
Sorry, C dot.
You are saying component name or JavaScript?
No, ma'am, like there you after buttons you have used component name. Yes. To call
Component C colon.
C colon. Okay. For button action, we need to use C dot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's move on. Questions. How do you display icon using the custom component? In custom component, how do you display the icon?
Lightning button icon.
Lightning button icon. Lightning colon button group is displaying in title section. How will you bring it to the action place? What are the group of buttons are there? It is displaying in the title place. How do you bring it into the action place?
Header.
Show.
Set.
We
Need
have
to
a
use the
header.
attribute.
Header.
We have a header, right? Inside the header, this side is a title and this side is a action. Now your buttons are displaying this side. How you will bring it to this side, actions place?
Using attribute action.
Which
In Aura set.
in our set.
Aura set.
In Aura set, we have to use the attribute action.
Yes, yes. In Aura set attribute.
So aura set attribute equal to
Attribute.
actions. How to add a thin line between the two buttons in menu item?
Or the lightning.
Lightning colon.
Divider.
Menu divider. What is controller?
Which handles the server side.
It's like interface between the UI and
A JavaScript controller used for handling client-side processing.
design laws.
Supports the client side, JavaScript and server side Apex controller. Aura attribute, Lightning Aura component syntax. How do you write the Aura attribute? Syntax for this.
Aura attribute.
Aura.
How do you declare the attribute? If I have to say integer I equal to 1, how do you declare in the Aura attribute? What are the variables do we use it?
Type and value.
Aura attribute type.
Type is equal to
Type
integer.
equals
Name is equals, label is equals to, type is equals to.
Name equal to name, type equal to data type, default value. Name, type. There is no label.
Here name and type are mandatory, ma'am.
No,
For
type,
Aura.
type and
Type
default.
is not mandatory. Yes, somebody is answering. Go ahead.
Yeah, please open it.
Yeah, type is not mandatory. If you don't give this, what will happen by default? It will take a text. For example, you have here a date. Okay, you have said name equal to date, and you have not mentioned the type. So that time what will happen when user is entering the date, it is Basically, it doesn't give you the date form, date icon. What are the icons are there? The date will not be there. You will not be able to capture the date properly. You will be capturing the date as a string. You wanted to capture the date, time, birth date, time. How do you capture? You need exact minutes, seconds, everything you need it. For that, we have a different type called date type.
But we use aura attribute just for a storing purpose.
That's a initialization. If you wanted to initialize a single variable, how do you initialize it if you wanted to initialize a variable? Right, so what is this called? What is this called?
Initialization.
Because you are giving here data type name long, and this is the variable name. So similarly, we are doing in the aura attribute. Because this new name is going to used in after while writing, while implementing the logic.
Yes.
Okay, homework. Implement Lightning tab called custom opportunity. So on top opportunity, you take any record name, and these are the buttons. Don't worry, if you are able to implement this, okay. Otherwise, I'll be explaining this to the next session. Implement these buttons. What are the buttons are there? Menu item. Below 3 input fields. Again, here we have a button. Okay, so this is title. This is title, and these are actions, and this is a text. Standard text display the standard text. In between these spaces, if you wanted to use a space, for now use it as a ampersand NBSP. And you can declare for now the dates or whatever the mentioned here, use the hard-coded values. Right? If you are able to implement the icon before the opportunity owner, go ahead and place it. If you are not, that's okay. And next one is lightning input. Text, text, text. 3 are text lightning input, and after that we have a button. No need of any capturing the data. That means we do not need any aura attribute for now here. This is the
Account name closed it. You are asking us just to print, right? Like in our P
just
type.
to print it. Yeah.
Okay.
Second one, Lightning app, custom report. Okay, create an app called custom report. And this is there is no icon here, report recent one item. And here we have a lightning group, and there is a setting button, and it has a menu item. So when you click on that menu item, it is displaying the select fields to display reset column width. These are the two options it is displaying when you click on that. Any questions on the requirement too?
I just get a clarity like how we are displaying that, icons, right?
You can use button with icon, you can use icons. This is normal button menu. In the button menu, you can add an icon here before the button menu.
Yes, ma'am. For icon attribute, what are the values? I'm asking that. I mean, when we are searching in when we are searching, we are not getting, ma'am. Like
This
we
is a
just need to
setting
use.
icon.
Okay. Utility colon setting. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not. How can we know those names? I'm asking that. Utility colon settings. Those
Have
things.
you gone through the Lightning design system? Have you gone
Yes,
to this?
like when we are clicking on that, we are not getting.
Okay, have you clicked on this utility?
Yes, we are getting these things, but how to use that? I'm asking that.
What are the name of it here? Okay, before the colon, this is the name. Utility colon Campion. If you are using the standard one, standard colon, what are the standard? Like if I click on it, account, standard colon account. If you are using the custom, custom colon, custom 6.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, need to use hard-coded IDs, ma'am. Record ID for showing the information about record.
Which one you are talking about? Requirement 1 or 2?
Yeah, requirement one.
2?
No, ma'am. Requirement one.
1. Okay. So are you talking about the account name?
Yeah.
Right
That's
now,
what.
just hard code it.
Okay.
Okay, so we have not seen so far using the record ID how to pull the account name close date. We have not seen that. So for now, hard code it.
Hello, ma'am.
Make sure that this is account name is a, and below that account name and the space close date, the close date space amount space in the opportunity owner. For adding the space, you can use ampersand NBSP.
Okay, so ma'am, this opportunity, I mean, we need to declare attribute for this, for every component, right? No?
Attributes are not required because we are not going to capture. This is just a UI design.
Okay.
Next one, third one, implement custom report. The previous one is also custom report. Yeah. Change this to put it as a group, custom group. Okay, take this group icon, right? And a group recently viewed, and there is an icon here. And this is also the icon, new button. We have a button icons here. When you click on this icon, display as is a sub menu header. And then we have a options. When you click on this, it should display list view controller is a sub menu header. Menu subheader and what are the menu items are there? These are the new, clone, rename, sharing, edit list, select fields to display, delete. And there is a one more disabled one, reset column width. On this icon, how you will get it? Go to the standards. So those are basically group. You can use standard. Okay, standard colon group. Is it here? Standard colon group. Okay, these are the trial heads. Are you guys doing the trial heads? Let me ping you the trial heads in the chat. Okay, we are done with the session. Any questions?